Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to come along today to have a play with the background papers that I gifted you guys for Christmas. And I'm going to have an attempt at something I haven't really ever attempted before. So I didn't really want to mix this with black, I have to be truthful. I wanted to mix it more with ivories. But I've had this black card under my desk for the longest time. And I just thought, actually, I'd like to get rid of this, this card. It's been in the way, and it would be a really great thing to get it out of the way. So I'm going to use the black, even though it wasn't my first choice. And I'm just going to make a random something, whatever kind of forms. So as I say, I have no plan in my mind at all what we're actually going to make from this. I'm thinking a sort of envelope with some other little flaps and folding pieces, so it becomes like an envelope folio, something like that. As I say, I don't have a plan. It's just going to evolve and unfold before our eyes, or maybe collapse before our eyes, who knows. So I'm just going to take this in the first instance. Now, this was from like a scrapbook, basically, these page inners from like a scrapbook. So they're sort of thickish, but obviously they're going to get thicker as I layer them up with the, the background pages. So I think all I want to do to start is obviously make like some sort of envelope shape part to it. So I'm going to fold this piece down. Now I need to decide whether I actually want to keep this because it will add to the, robustness, if that's a word, or whether to get rid of that. I mean, it's kind of nice having it there because it does, it does make it significantly thicker. But we're going to obviously be sticking, the pages on as well. So then is it going to actually be really monstrously thick? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously, as I say, this is very much a, wing and a prayer. I do not have a plan at all. So it may be that whatever we do, it will turn out like hindsight would have been a wonderful thing and we should have done something completely differently. But, let's just have a play around and see how we get on. So again, like the top flap here, I want to fold it over, but obviously I do want to have, a bit of room for getting things in and out. Or do I? Do I? I may just prefer that going right the way down because actually, we're going to have this big flap here anyway. Okay, so our envelope flap is obviously, going to be this section here. And we want to just fold that over, oops, like so, like that. Okay, now, I mean, obviously you can see this got holes in it where it was, a scrapbook type inner page. Just checking, I don't think I've got that very straight, but never mind, it will all be fine. So that's our basic sort of envelope. Now what I'm going to do, I think, is stitch this on the sewing machine rather than glue it. So I might go and do that now, but I'm just having a think before I go down whether I want to attach any other flaps, at the same time. So it might be, like say here, that we maybe want to have like another fold down piece that would flap open. Does that make sense? Am I just now? No, I don't think I do want to do that. I think what might be better is, let's now not use the black card. So I'm thinking now I'm hardly going to use any of the black card, which is, defeats the object really of where I was going with this in the first place. But I'm going to take some of the background page, and I think what I'm going to do actually is make a pocket directly onto the envelope. What do you think? So I mean, if for instance I stitch that envelope together and then we put this on here, oops, stitch this on here. Well, we could just glue this, I guess, to be fair. And then if we were to have, say, a pocket on here, would that be kind of okay? I don't know how this is going to work with regards to having the flaps and things like that. So, yeah. Okay, right. I'm going to go and stitch this in the first instance, and then we will rejoin and have another think. Right, I am back from the sewing machine. Now, I've stitched around this in white thread. So against the black, hopefully you guys can really see quite easily, you know, what I've done. So all I have done is literally stitched around to make a pouch here, like an envelope pocket. And when I was coming back up the stairs from my sewing machine, I then suddenly thought, actually, I think what I need to do is turn my envelope this way round. Just going to zoom out slightly, because obviously this piece of paper is quite large, so I think it's not really fitting on the screen brilliantly. So I thought, actually, maybe if I turn this round, so it's like, you know, more like a folder, you know, setup, then that might just be a bit better to work with. So I'm just going to pull in another piece of black card. And what I'm thinking is just layer up like a few different sort of fold out pieces. So for instance, if I were to have this one, and it would obviously fold in, you know, here, like that. Obviously I need to chop that down. But then this would then sort of close it up. So when you open this like that, it would have like a side here. And then you could also make it a pocket on the back. So I think I'm going to do that. But before I do that, I'm just going to trim this down just slightly here on the edge, so as it actually does fit, because obviously at the moment it's too wide. So that's that piece, like that. I mean, as I say, it wasn't really my intention to use the black. I had wanted to be using ivory, but yeah, I kind of wanted to use this black up that had been sat under my desk for such a long time. Right, what I'm going to do is glue around here. Like that. I mean, the good thing is, look at how well the glue is showing up on this black card. So you guys can really see where I'm applying the glue, which is fantastic. So, you know, from a tutorial point of view, this is working fantastically well, you know, from a vision point. So I'm just going to tuck that up there like that. And then if I just press that round. So as I say, I mean, if you wanted to make something like this using your freebie papers, then, you know, you don't have to use the black. You could use any colour you like. I am just using this because it's all I had. Well, not all I had, of course, it's not all I had, but it was just something that I thought would be good to get rid of. But you could use any colour that you like. Right, I have no idea why that was looking really blurry. All I've done is switched my iPad off and on in case it was like having some sort of memory problem. So I'm really praying that it's now a clearer screen. It was very blurry, and yeah, fingers crossed it's going to be clearer now. So I've printed these background pages onto ivory cardstock. It's 160 GSM card, but I just want to show you like the difference. So this is on just white copy paper. Let me see if I can find the identical sheet, which of course now I can't find. Oh goodness, look, got them all here, but can I find that one? No. Let me find another one. No, can't find that one either. Hold on. Well, this is a section of this collage page. So can you just see the difference there between the ivory and the white? I mean, actually on that one, it's not that noticeable, but some of them it is more noticeable. So I just wanted to point that out, that they have been printed on ivory rather than white. There we go. I'll just show you. Can you see this sort of difference there? I mean, I think they're both really nice, but this is probably slightly warmer looking. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that I had, you know, printed it that way. Right, let me check that it's not gone blurry again. Right, fingers crossed. We're cooking on gas now, so I don't know why I said that. That's not really an expression that I particularly use, but it just came out. Right, okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start covering our envelope. And obviously we want to make some other little bits and bobs, like kind of pockets and things like that. So do we want to make like a pocket here, or do we want to have it like another fold out? Probably another pocket, I think. So I'm just picking a background page to go there. And I mean, as I say, these have been printed on actually 160 GSM card, which, you know, is probably a bit overkill, because obviously this is already thick, this, you know, this black piece. So I'm just trying to find the ideal piece that I want to use. I think maybe that one I quite like. Now all I'm going to do is actually tear around. So I'm just going to, you know, fold this up like that. Like that. Okay. Just fold it the other way. Now, the reason why I'm tearing this, weirdly, I just thought it might kind of give it a bit of interest and like a sort of rough edge, because obviously this is very new looking. It's very, you know, it's perfect edges and what have you. So I just thought maybe if I tear the edges, if they're visible, they're going to be torn. So, you know, that's great for a start. But also it's going to add to like a feeling of roughness rather than flat and new feeling, if that makes sense. So here I'm just going to again take this and do the same, like that, and we just tear it the other way. Like that. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is rough up along here, because obviously we've knocked on these edges. So I would just rough this up now, so it also has a bit more life about it, I suppose. So I just rough those up on all the edges like that, and then we can just glue that down over that pocket. So I'm just going to take that and glue the whole thing down onto here. Come on. Now look, I can't see where I'm gluing. I'm I'm going to have to start using black card constantly. Every video I'll be featuring black card because that's the one that I'm going to be able to see the best. And presumably you guys as well. I mean, you must not be able to see where the glue is either, I assume. So yeah, the black is definitely quite a good shout when you're doing a video. Right, let's just move that down slightly. Okay, use my card to spread that around. Okay, so I don't mind obviously if it's got black showing, because obviously we're going to have this anyway, so you know, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so now we want to cover our flap here. So should we cover the flap in this? Or maybe that side. Yeah, maybe that side. So again, I'm just going to go in slightly and then just again just going to tear it again. So awful person, just doing this with my nails now. I was trying to be really you know, professional, if you can be professional doing junk journals, but you know, by using my scissors, where obviously I should have been even using a bone folder, so I mean scissors weren't even being professional. But no, I've now gone back to my shoddy methods of just using my nails. Right, so if we're going to have that there, I'm going to try and keep the length of that, and I'm just having a look to see where this is going to go to over the page. So we'll have to obviously tear that off, but that's absolutely fine. So let's just glue this down on here. Like that. Oh, come on. Don't need to really go in every single hole. I just need to put glue all over the flap like that. And actually I should really just rough up this edge a little bit. And just rough up this edge as well. And probably should go all the way down, because obviously we're going to be sticking it all the way down. Okay, so I'm just going to glue that onto here, like that. So again, just take my card and just glue that down. Just checking again that I'm filming and in frame, only because I think I said recently my iPad's gone back to, you know, not having so much space, even though I thought I'd fixed it. But yeah, go back to that silly joke again. And what I should have done in hindsight, obviously, is glued this under that flap. So I'm just going to see whether I can peel this up slightly. Okay, so it's kind of working out lucky to my advantage that this glue is pretty slow drying these days. So I'm just going to fold that over at that crease. And then we're just going to apply the glue. So glue all the way down on the edges and down here. And obviously we didn't need to rough that edge up because that's going to be tucked into the pocket. So just plenty of glue like that. Again, just take my spreader, pop that down like that. Okay, so now we can obviously glue this back in place like that. Okay, so it does have its advantages, not sticking as quickly, doesn't it? You know, that worked out pretty handy. Now I'm just going to do obviously this flap that's going to be coming over here like that. I mean, I'm now kind of thinking, would I have been better just still keeping it as a big envelope? That's not very straight either, so let me just trim that down. I mean, this is another reason why you should just never come on without a plan, should you? Just have a look. No, I don't want to, because I want to do one of those little thingamabobbies, you know, the thingies, the policy envelope thingy from the bobs. So we're going to have it like that. Now, I just need to see what paper is going to look good here, because it's going to obviously be sort of next to that piece there. It's going to have to go this way, because obviously, you know, in order to fit. That's quite nice. Yep, I might go for that one, I think. So again, let's just see. Right, let's make this a bit smaller. So we're going to, again, just tear it off at the side. I'm probably not in frame when I'm doing this, because this piece is pretty big. So, you know, keeping it on screen is a bit of a nightmare, but... So we'll just tear that down like that. So I'm just going to again go across here. Like that, and a bit here, and we'll just go down this edge. And again, I'm not going to do the bottom yet, because we're going to obviously tear that down around the pocket. So let's just glue it on here first. So again, a nice lot of glue on there. Okay, coming down here, and then obviously smother in the glue like that. Right, try and get this somewhere vaguely lined up with the flap. Oh, can you hear that wind now? Just blowing a gale. It's yeah, really windy. Right. Glue that down. Okay, and now I'm going to obviously take this over, fold this like this. So I'm just going to obviously press that down here, so as I know, you know, where that needs to be, like that. And then we just need to literally take off a slither here. So this is going to obviously test me with my tearing skills. I'm thinking I'm going to fail miserably, because this does not look very easy to tear. I might have to cut this and then rough up the edge, but we'll see. We'll see how we get on. So I'll just fold it over a couple of times. Let's see. Oh, come on. So, I mean, see there, I've got that piece. I don't mind that. I think that's kind of quite nice. So I'm going to leave that on there. So I'm just going to glue this down now onto, in fact, I'll just apply the glue to this side. Okay. So we'll just apply the glue all around like that. Okie dokie, and all over like that. Okie dokie, right. Now press that down. Where did I put my card? Okay. Don't you love how those papers look? Oh, they look really nice, don't they? So, yeah. I don't mean to sound like a scratch record, but if you haven't got these papers, they're free on my website. So I will link it below. And they're a PDF download. You can just head over there and, you know, print yourself off a copy. So there's 10 background pages altogether. And they're just, you know, they're just something quite nice to use. Right. So that's my envelope now. Now, what I want to do is, I think, pop something here that will then be a pocket here as well. I'm not saying necessarily that page. I'm thinking maybe this page. Maybe this side. Let me just double check. Got a few here. So, oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to do it that way, I think. So again, what I'm going to do is, let's have a look. Tear it down here. So line it up a little bit again. You know, it really doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, if I've got some of the black card showing, it's fine. So just tear this down. Ooh, like that. Okay, and then again, I'm just going to rough up the edge here. Like that. And then I'm going to rough up this edge as well. This is obviously going to be my pocket, so I mean, you could reinforce that with some book page or something. It just depends really. I mean, I'm not planning on putting anything too bulky in there. I'm just going to put very, you know, like more like journaling cards printed off. So hopefully it's going to be okay. If I fold this here, so then I'm going to now glue this down onto this flap. So go all along, and again, you know, just right up to the edges and then into the middle bit. Again along there, all over, so you've got plenty of glue. Excuse my throat. Like that. I'm just going to pop that down onto there. So again, get my card and, you know, really make sure that that's pressed down into place. Like that. just going into the crease there, like that. And we're just going to then glue this down as our pocket piece. So plenty of glue again up the sides like that. Okay. Okie dokie, so that's our basis for our you know, envelope-y, folio-y thing. I mean, it's not a folio, it's not really an envelope. I'm not really too sure what I would describe it as, but you know, hopefully it's going to be fun and turn out, you know, pretty and nice. So obviously on the cover, I'm thinking let's have a couple of those, you know, the policy envelope thingies, doobie flip things, circles. I think that would just be the correct terminology, just circles, you know. I don't think they necessarily have a fancy name. They might do, but I don't know what it is. I'm having a look now for some thicker card to be able to make them from. So bear with me for 2 seconds while I rummage around trying to find some. Nope, not so far. Gosh, I'm so sorry about my throat. It's obviously, you know, because I'm just talking non-stop. It's failing me. Right, well, I can't actually find the card that I was going to use. So what I'm going to do is use this brown card, which, I mean, actually this is going to work pretty well because this is quite thick card. So I'm going to punch out 4 circles. Okay, put my circle punch back, and then let me get my brad or brads. Oh, come on. So sorry that my arm is going across the screen constantly as well, because my bits and bobs are obviously all to the side, or, you know, I have to reach up to get them. So yeah, sorry about that. Right, so I'm going to take my 2 here, and I need to obviously pop one on here, and then I'm going to have one up here. Now I'm thinking I should probably decorate this first, to be fair, before sticking these on. So let me just pop these to one side. Now obviously I'm going to have lost those by the time that we come to actually do them, but I'm going to try not to. So I'm going to ink all around my folio now. Again, I'm still using the walnut stain. I'm just going to open this up, because otherwise I just get that, you know, where it's folded over, I'll get that effect, which is a bit weird, isn't it? So just ink all around there. Ink down your fold. And you can obviously fold that in. Ink all around here. Again, just ink our fold really nicely here. And the pocket piece here. On this edge. And ink along here. And then I'm going to just ink the front. I am going to do something with this, but I haven't quite decided what, because again, I should have really done it before stitching the envelope flap. But again, because I'm just very much winging it in this video, and I didn't really have a, you know, concrete full plan of what I was doing. Well, I didn't have a plan really of what I was doing at all. I just, yeah, didn't really kind of think it through. So, but I mean, that's how we, you know, we learn, don't we? And we learn how not to do it. So if we did another one, I know to stick some paper down on this section first before gluing the flap down. So, okay, ink all around, ink a bit there, and this section here, like that. Okay, so that looks really pretty. It looks really pretty now. Now let's just decorate up a little bit. So I've got some book page, oops, beside me here, got some doily. Put some doily down on there. I should really keep this because I could make little pads out of that. Oh, I will keep it. I was about to bin it and be really good and, you know, actually get rid of some rubbish for once, but as I went to say, oh, I'm going to be really ruthless and throw it away, I then couldn't bring myself to, and I had to then just take it back. Which, how ridiculous. As I was even saying, oh, look at how good and ruthless I'm being, throwing it in the bin, it then prevented me from throwing it in the bin. Which, what's the deal with that? Ridiculous. Just got some sheet music here, so could have some of that there. I was going to have book page, but actually I think the sheet music would look quite nice. Now I've also got some ephemera pieces, which oops, sorry, I'm dropping everything all over the floor here. So I've got these which are called Vintage Botanical, and they're in limestone colour. So I've got those, and I don't necessarily think those are going to go with those background papers. But, and just a note, sorry, these are obviously in my shop. I have printed these on white and I've printed them on ivory. This is on ivory. On white, they're very pale, you know, which is absolutely fine, obviously, if you like quite pale things. But printed on ivory is my preference personally. So that's those, and you just get literally, it's a 4-page download. You get you know, the 2 pages of journaling cards, you get a page with an envelope, this page here, and just a couple of circle tags, and then you get a collage page. So that's those, and there's also some very neutral background pages in a, you know, a separate set, which would go really lovely with those as well. So that's those. But what I also have done is we've got the same set. Oops, maybe I didn't print it off in the ivory. Oh, maybe I did. No, I haven't. Right, I thought I'd been really organised, but no. So I've got the same set, but basically this is for sale as a separate set, and it is Vintage Botanical in russet tones. So again, as you can see, this is it on white. So this shows fine on white. It's not obviously as pale as the limestone coloured one. This is the collage page on the white. So I mean, it's really pretty, really nice tones, but this is it on the ivory, which I just thought was actually really nice with these background pages. So I'm going to take that on the ivory rather than the white and use, I think, 1 or 2 pieces. I've also got my labels, and I've done some in now brown tones and neutral tones. So again, these are going to go pretty nicely with those background pages. So again, I've printed these on ivory, but yeah, I just thought they would go really quite nicely with those background pages. So let's just have a play and see what, you know, what we can pop here and what's going to look good. So bring that back, and let's just take this one, and what I'm going to do is actually just tear around this journaling card, you know, rather than cut it out and keep it as a journaling card. I'm just going to tear around it and just see how that would look here. I mean, obviously that's quite wide because it's almost covering up the sheet music, so I might need to take it in slightly more. Like that. Oops. Trying to get this positioned right. Or perhaps we need that down there. Obviously I'm going to have some lace going on the edge because of course I have to have the lace. It just wouldn't be any fun without lace, would it? Now I've got that coffee coloured lace that I've been using quite a bit recently, so we could go for that. I have got some ivory lace. Let's just pull that in. Oops. So we could go for the ivory. Oh, it's lovely with the ivory, isn't it? Yep, might have to go for the ivory. Weirdly, I wasn't expecting to go for the ivory. I thought we were going to go for the coffee coloured, but actually I think the ivory is the winning one. Right, let's ink this sheet music up. Otherwise, I'm just going to be sat here talking all day. So we just ink that up like that. And then we'll just glue that down. Like that. Okay, and then we're going to pop the doily down. I think like that. Just check how I'm going to get most of the doily showing. Probably that way up, I think. So again, I'm just going to glue this with my 3-in-1 rather than my tacky glue because of the black blobs that the tacky glue seems to make on the doily these days. Oops. Okay. And I'm just going to ink up this piece that we just fussy tore out. Well, we didn't really even fussy tear it, did we? Because it's not resembling the shape of the flower at all. So yeah, ignore that we just tore out. Not fussy tearing, just tearing. So there we go. And we can pop that on there like that. So I'm just going to again glue that down. Like that, and then this little download also comes with these I don't know really what you'd call these, but they're like gardening phrases. So this one, I mean, some of them are hard to make out because they're in this fancy font, but this one says annuals. So I'm going to glue this, I think, somewhere as well, because that looks quite nice. So again, just ink that up. Can you hear that wind now? Thank goodness I am in here crafting, not outside. It's hideous. It's really blowing up like a lot. So I quite like that. So I'm just going to glue that down. Okay. Like that. That's really nice. And then I might want to do something over here. So I've got the rest of that sheet music, which we could possibly use somewhere. Now, do we want another one of these sort of cards? Got these, which are really sweet, aren't they? They're like little note card things, like a little journaling label thing. So let's just have a look. See whether we could have one of those. That's quite nice, isn't it? We could maybe have a dictionary definition, but to be honest, that might just be like too cluttered then. Quite nice. I mean, I do always think more is more, you know. Let's just go for that. So again, just ink up my sheet music a bit. I mean, it is vintage sheet music, but it's not overly coloured. It's, you know, it's not very discoloured, so, oops. There we go. Pop that down there. And then we just ink around our label. So that's, get our dictionary definition. I mean, this one actually says home, which I have got them that say things like bloom and flower. So let me just see whether I've got one ready cut out. Oh, look, flower. You know, because obviously that's just a little bit more in keeping, isn't it, than saying home, because it's quite a botanical feel to the, you know, the piece. Right, so I'm going to layer these two up there. Just in the corner. So I'll pop this one down. I don't want to cover that sheet music up completely, so I'm, you know, taking care to try and leave that there. Excuse the back of this. This is obviously where I've been multi-printing, you know, while I'm trying to get my printables right. Obviously, have to print them out numerous times. So, yeah. Right. So I like how that looks. I have got some butterflies here, which we could always have a butterfly. Quite like the butterfly there, I think. So I'm just going to pop that down. Like that. Okay, right, let's now pop the lace on across the flap. I'm just going to check I'm filming again. Oh, I can't really tell how long I've been filming because I've had to stop the video a couple of times. It's hard to tell. So we're going to have this gorgeous lace along here, which just looks divine, doesn't it? Yeah, I love how that looks. So I'm going to take my 3-in-1 and then just, come on. Well, I say I'm going to take my 3-in-1. I mean, it doesn't seem to be overly coming out. And again, I can't really see it. So wishing I'd left it black so that I could see what I was doing a bit better. Right, check that I'm sticking this on the right way rather than the wrong way. Yeah, I think it is. So just press that down there. And I've left this lace like really flopping because that looks really pretty, I think. So it's just really flopping over the edge. And we'll just chop this down here. Okay, let me pick up my glue that's just fallen on the floor. Right. So love how that looks. Now I did manage to keep these there, which was a miracle. So I'm just going to pop now a hole through like two together basically. So I'll just get something soft. Oops. I'm not very good at judging where the middle of the circle is, to be fair, but you know, it's fine. Oops. So that's my first one, and what I'm going to do is thread my string through the hole. Now, I always find this very, very, very fiddly, I have to say. So we just pop that through and then pop our brad through. To be fair, I should probably be using the bigger brad. So pop the brad through. And then like that. And then we'll press that down. Oh, you know what I've done? I went through the wrong bit. The string should have just been through one, not both of the circles. So, sorry, let me just redo that. Right. You're going to put your string through just one of the circles. Then you're going to get your other circle and put your brad through like that. Oh my gosh. Always find these incredibly fiddly, I have to say, but I do absolutely love how they look. So, you know, they're probably worth the fiddling around. So now this is going to be my, what would you call it? You know, the one where it's constantly attached. So I'm just going to wind the string round a couple of times like that. And then, whoops, what I'm going to do is just put a bit of glue in there so that that's fixed nicely onto there, like that. So I've got, oops, a bit there. And we'll just pop a bit this side as well, like that. Okay. And then we're going to glue this down approximately sort of in the center. So here looks good. So again, just take your glue. I'm just going to glue that on here. Okay. Now I'm going to weigh that down. Not that that's particularly heavy. Let me see what else I have that might be a little bit more weighty than that. I don't really have anything very much that's weighty, to be honest. Oh well, right, we'll just weight it down like that. And we will do our other circle whilst that's weighing down. So again, just get your two circles together. Press your hole through approximately the middle. And then just put your brad through. Much less fiddly this side because of obviously we're not, you know, we're not clamping the string in this side, so it's much less fiddly. Okay, I need to just move that slightly. And we're going to pop this, oops, oh gosh, look, I've now put glue all over here. Oh. And then what you're going to want to do, you see, is put your string between the two circles. So I like to just separate them out a little bit, which, you know, I also think makes them look quite grungy and old because they then are layered, which I like that, you know, lots of layers feel, you know, when it's got dimension rather than completely flat on the page. So I think that's quite nice. All right, let's have a look. So we're going to glue that down sort of there. Oops, there we go. Oh, you know what I've done? Let me move it forward because otherwise, I hadn't even noticed, it would have been smack bang over the flower. Thank goodness I noticed. Obviously when I just held it there, I suspect it was smack bang over the flower and you guys were probably watching thinking, well, what an idiot. She's just going to cover that flower up. Oh well, never mind. Right, so there's your two policy envelope mechanisms. So then obviously, oops, my string's now caught up in my drawer. You can then obviously take your string and just wind it round like that. I mean, to be honest, you can then go back round the first one. But but obviously I've applied the glue, so it's still gluing together, so I won't do that for the moment. In fact, I'm not going to even wind the string around there in case it gets glued into there, which it sort of feels like it already is. Hang on. Oops. Right. Let's pop that down again. Third time lucky. Right, I'm not going to put the string around there at all. But you just want to cut your string, if you were going to wrap it round both, you might want to have it sort of this sort of length. I mean, just guess. And obviously you can always trim it down. What you don't want to do is cut it too short and have no extra left to go. So that's our piece so far. I haven't put any bling on it, which, oh my gosh, can't have a thing like this with no bling, can we? That would just be awful. Although I'm now not feeling the bling. Surely not. I'm not going to have a bling-free piece, am I? Not sure. Not sure. I do quite like the bling down there. Oh, I'm not sure. Right. I'm not going to put the bling on there because just in case when I next come back I think, oh no, it needs to be bling-free. Anyway, I hope that you liked that little tutorial, and hopefully we'll come back and do some more bits with this, or make some pieces to go inside. Haven't decided again what's going to go inside or anything, but yeah, head on over and download your free background pages if you haven't already, and I hope this just gave you a couple of ideas of how to use them. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all again soon. Thanks then. Bye.